Thank you. I don't know how to use this. Thank you everybody for being here today. Thank you Executive Forum for having organized this IoT Forum in Madrid. My name is Marco Laucelli. I'm the CEO and the founder of NOVELTI. Today I'd like to share with you what we do at this new venture that is just 1 year old. NOVELTI is an IoT analytics company that is trying to change the way we do the analytics of the data, all those data that are coming from the collected sensor, the connected sensor. Okay, so before going to actually explaining you what we do at NOVELTI, I'd like to give a little bit of the context and how we see the context. But we have seen many talks today explaining the different ways and the different challenges we have in order to deploy sensors, to deploy devices, to connect them, and to collect data from them. Well, there are open issues still to be solved, but at the end, well, most of us recognize that we are able to deploy these sensors on the environment and to collect a lot of information. So these devices are providing us huge amounts of information on the environment and their operating conditions. But this is not the IoT. This is not the big deal of the IoT. The actual big deal of the IoT is to be able to leverage those sensors, to leverage those connected devices to provide services, to use them as a platform to provide services to users, to companies. And those services, as services by nature, need too many important things. They need to be personalized and they need to be interactive. And this poses an interesting challenge to the companies trying to leverage these new technologies for new services. The challenges may be basically two. The first one is that maybe for the first time in history, some companies need to become service companies. For the first time, a device manufacturer may have a continuous interaction with the user. This is something that is actually new for most of them. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a little bit more technical challenge that is based on this need for interactivity and personalization of the services. And actually, this interactivity requires the ability of analyzing the data coming from the sensor in real time, and taking in consideration all the specific situation the sensor is interacting with the service consumer. Just to let me know a very simple example. So let's suppose that we manufacture a washing machine, and we keep this washing machine with three very basic sensors. The first one is a status sensor, a sensor that provides us with information of the program being used. Is the user using the long one, the short one, the hot one, the cold one, whatever? Well, it's easy to think about collecting this data and analyzing this data to start profiling user preferences. And gathering all this information and maybe building a service for our internal product design department to be able to understand the user preferences, which is how the washing machine is actually being used, and how we need to design future washing machine better suited for the different user preferences and profiles. Now let's say that we also add a smart meter to the washing machine, something that gives us real-time information on the energy being used by the washing machine. Well, it's easy to think, and you can accompany me thinking about, okay, I know the user preferences, I know the user profile, I can collect this information in real time. Well, I can build, eventually partner with an utility, an energy efficiency service for the user of the washing machine, something that gives him the information or some recommendation to be more efficient using the energy. Well, finally, let's suppose that we have a condition sensor that provides us with information on the actual condition of the washing machine, something that may allow us to understand if there is an anomaly there, or may allow us to predict future failures. Well, this is very simple to think that, well, we can do something, some predictive maintenance on the washing machine, and we can start building a very smart technical support services for washing machine users. But beyond that, we may also think about launching renewal campaigns for washing machines. So if I know that this washing machine is going to be less efficient in 2 months, I may maybe start calling my user and try to sell a new washing machine to him. Well, this is the kind of stories Novelty is involved in. We provide the analytics capabilities needed by our customers, being that customer a washing machine manufacturer, to build these services. We provide the IoT intelligence to be able to deliver these kind of services to the users and their customers. This is based on new analytic capabilities and new ways of using artificial intelligence in real time. But before going to that, I'd like to share with you how we see that the analytics process is doing today and why this is a problem. Well, I have to say that the analytics process today for the Internet of Things, or for mostly any analytics scenarios, is basically an artisanal process. It involves a lot of manual effort and a lot of time, and it requires to have very specialized skills. Basically, the process is as follows. You connect the devices, you start collecting the data, you store the data in your data store, and then you bring your magic guys that know some formulas and algorithms, and they start trying to build models. It takes time. We don't even know how much time it takes. And as you may imagine, as the number of connected devices grows, or the complexity of the situation in the network grows, this manual approach no longer scales. And even worse, physical devices evolve over time, so that these models need to be updated and retrained, and you need to bring your magic expensive guys again to update the models and retrain the models again. At the end, the business people is a little bit frustrated because they never get the predictive capability to deliver these interactive services, and they spend a lot of time and money trying to build it with this manual approach. In order to solve this, or to simplify this, we've been building Novelty. Novelty is an autonomous analytics platform. Basically, what the Novelty does, or the user Novelty may plug the data coming from their devices to the platform, and the platform is able to autonomously learn all the behavior, all the patterns that the device may have, or actually have, and detect anomalies and discover these patterns as soon as they happen in real time. So providing information on how the system is behaving. The data, and the system is able to learn all these patterns by itself. It is provided as a service, and it also allows to build these usage profiles on top of the devices. And leveraging the intelligence that this Novelty platform provides, our customers are being able to build the services I was talking before. Novelty is in, well, we see Novelty between a kind of solution that are usually called systems of intelligence, or in other words, automating or industrializing the analytic process. Well, why this is expected to be a huge market growth in the future? Well, we all know that there will be trillions and trillions and trillions of devices connected, but the problem is not the number of devices. The problem is that data science skills and data science skills shortage will be a problem. It's a problem today and will be a problem in the future, because we cannot have all these magic guys growing at the same pace of the number of connected devices. Actually, in the US market this year, there was a shortage of 200,000 data science. So 200,000 data science positions that were not filled because there were no people to apply for them. And that's why this kind of autonomous solution for the analytics process are expected to grow in the future very quickly. So which is the, just to put it in the context and to show you how we compare with other solutions, well, the mainly, let's say, competitor, or the main incumbent solution that most of the customers have is the famous data lake. The famous data lake, that could be the data lake as the market is used to name it, or maybe an IoT platform that actually is a data lake with connectivity capabilities for the sensors. And the problem is that it's exactly that this data lakes require this manual process. So you just collect data and then you start bringing your guys in order to extract value from them. In the market, there are also several solutions that are, well, we call them frameworks. There are many of them. You can see here some examples. There are solutions that may help these data science and engineers do their job a little bit more easily or more faster, but at the end, they still require these data science skills, this ability to model the data to extract value. Finally, there are some companies, Novelty is between them. Actually, most of these companies are startups from 2014, 2015, that are trying to provide these autonomous analytics capabilities to the Internet of Things. A part of this small or new startup, new venture like Novelty, there is a big company that is General Electric that is doing this software called Predix. That is so way similar to what we are doing in Novelty. So what makes us different? Our different value comes from two main points. One is the technology, our scientific technology techniques that we are using. We are using online machine learning, online artificial intelligence algorithms that are able to learn continually this behavior of the devices that are connected to the platform. And more important than that is they are able to deliver insights to business people, so people that doesn't know nothing about data modeling, relevant insights in real time, without any query, as I said, without any question, without any model, okay? And the second important point of this online artificial intelligence approach is that the models are always updated, so that there is no need for training phase, for updating of the models. The model is continuously updated. With this, Novelty is able to deliver answers to three very basic questions. The first one is what happened? What happened to the system? Say, what is the minimal situation that you discovered? The second one is when it happened. Is it normal to happen on Monday morning? Is it normal to happen on Sunday? When this happens in your system? And the third one is how long is stated. So is the anomaly impacting my system during all the day? Is just an impact during a few minutes? Whatever. Okay? And with this question, Novelty is able to start a dialogue with the user in order to keep the semantic of the situation and the expertise related to the vertical scenario, and then start using this feedback to make meaningful predictions. So is my engine going to break in a half an hour? So this is something that requires, let's say, vertical expertise and the feedback of the user. So just as a summary, what we do is use these online machine learning techniques to learn this behavior without the intervention of a human modeler, then start this continuous monitoring and discovery of the situation patterns and so on. And with that, when you think about thousands, millions, trillions of devices, you can start learning collective behavior. Are my red cars those cars that are suffering this anomaly? Are the white ones? Are those that I was manufacturing in Asturias or in Madrid? Which one? Are those driven by a young guy, by an old guy, whatever. So collective behavior is what I'm meaning with this. So behaviors that are impacting different communities among my devices. And finally, provide this real-time updated analytic dashboarding or metrics on what happened, when it happened, and how long it lasts. Just to share, I'd like to share with you some experience and projects that we are already running. For instance, for the connected car, we are working with car manufacturers from one side and with telecom operators from another side. In this case, we are working with car manufacturers to detect specific driver behavior. Let's suppose that you are able to detect when a driver is trying to park without asking nothing to the driver, just looking at the data coming from the car. So if you are able to detect this in real time, you can build a service to assist the driver to park. This is the kind of project we are doing with a car manufacturer in Novelty. And another perspective, we are working with telecom operators because telecom operators need, let's say, a little bit of help in order to understand which will be the demand patterns of a connected car. They usually and very well know how a human uses the network, but it's not so clear how a car will be using the network. So if they are thinking of providing an SLA to a car manufacturer for a connectivity, they need to be able to understand which will be the demand pattern for the network. So we are helping them to build this demand pattern for the network. We're obviously working on one of the most mature use cases, that is predictive maintenance in the industry, but also there are other interesting scenarios like operational monitoring. For instance, if you're thinking about quality monitoring, we are working with the biggest steel manufacturer in the world in order to help them detect in real time when the quality of the steel being manufactured is evolving to a bad pattern, so being able to react in real time as soon as the pattern of degradation of the quality starts beginning. We usually make a joke saying that healthcare and predictive maintenance is more or less the same thing, because, well, at the end you can try to detect when a dangerous pattern for a human being is starting happening. And we are working with caregivers, actually with home assistance companies, monitoring chronic cardiac patients with two purposes. The first one is try to profile their activity, so being able to ask the doctors to coach them and have more active lifestyles, for instance, but also detecting real-time critical situations or risky situations that may need some human interpretation in order to be able to make a decision if there's a need for assistance, or just at least make a call to the patients in order to know if something is happening. We are also working in smart meter scenarios. We are actually monitoring water usage in big buildings and big consumers of water in the city of Madrid, being sports centers, universities, and we are helping them and the building managers to detect anomalous consumptions, and specifically detect which is the device that is having an anomalous consumption. Well, these are some of the examples. Here you may see some of the partners we are working with. Being a company of a one-year-old company, we are also proud of two mentions that we got at the end of the last year. We were selected as one of the 10 most promising startups by Cisco at the end of the past year around the world. And Telefonica selected us this March Novelty as the best artificial intelligence startup of the year. We are a team. We are a team of 7 people, all technical people working on builders, let's say, coming from big data, IoT, and artificial intelligence fields. We are also supported by a very experienced group of mentors, including MIT technologists and former entrepreneurs and executives. And just as a final word, I'll say that this is not only for washing machines, but we will require, we are seeing the challenges today, we will require these smart services and this smart intelligence at every layer of the IoT architectures. So we will be keen and very happy to work with partners and customers in order to build this intelligence required to be able to do and provide these services at these levels. Thanks a lot.